But first thing we're gonna do is find the key. And the key is always taped right up top here. And just so I don't lose it, I just put it right in the door. So Greg's got the hinge side. So we're both gonna lift together. Greg's gonna put the bottom in. Hold on, come back your way. There it is. Okay, so we got a gap on the bottom now, but we got a bit of a gap on the top. Now up top, there's a screw up here and it's an adjustment pin. So me loosening this off is gonna lower this side of the door down. Me tightening it up is gonna move this side of the door up. The one thing you really wanna be careful about is when you're tightening it up, you're putting a screw down and it's gonna start hitting that glass. So you don't wanna tighten it all the way. So if you're finding that your door is not sitting square and you got it quite tight, then maybe you have to readjust somehow by moving your door frame. So I'm gonna back this off quite a bit. I get a piece of wood, rubber mallet, and I just gently. Okay. Yeah, we've got her in. Like I say, be patient with this process. We don't want, you don't want to rush this because this is sort of a finished product and you want it to open up nice, just like so. And a big thing is try your lockout. That's pretty smooth. If you feel rubbing and stuff, then you need to go back to the drawing board, readjust. But I think we're ready for the next step. Okay, the next step is we're gonna install the handle. Don't need this for right now, but what you're gonna need is an Allen key set and like a flat bar or a slotted screwdriver, fairly hefty one. And the package you're gonna get is a door handle package like this, and one set will have Allen key marks on it. Okay, the first handle we're gonna grab is the one without the Allen keys, and that's gonna go on the outside of your door. I take my pins, push them through, and I just start with the top. Just thread it in a little bit, then evenly thread in your bottom. And once you got it kind of threaded in, I just sort of push it in tight that way. And then I tighten these up. I do a few turns on the top, a few turns on the bottom, just sort of evenly thread them in. And you want this fairly tight. I'm gonna grab my Allen keys and the inside handle. I just want to back these Allen keys right off. And sometimes these are a little bit fussy to go on. But you just give it a good, and that looks fairly tight there and there, so we're all good to go. And then we tighten up the Allen keys. Now we have a handle on. Okay, we're gonna install the closure. So the first thing you wanna do is mark out where your closure is gonna go. So first thing, before you start marking out, make sure you're on the hinge side. So my top closure, I measure from the corner of my door frame, 5 inches. Down here, I go 9.5 inches. When you put your closure up, you want it flush to the bottom of your door frame. And also on this closure, you'll see an L and an S. That side is gonna go to the hinge. So I'm on my mark. Make a little, drill your hole. Now the drill bit I'm using is a 732. You don't want to go any smaller or any bigger. Now there's different ways to do this. This is just the way I do it. So now that I got my corner set, I'm going to drill out this side. So I briefly said there's an L and an S on this side, and there's a B and a BC on the other side. So those are your adjustments for your closure. So once we get it in, we can adjust accordingly. So the L is your latch speed, how quickly your door will latch. The S is a sweep, and that's how quickly or slowly you want your door to sweep closed. And your back check is when you open the door, how far you want it to open. You can set it at a 90 degree, or you can have it fully open. So that's sort of stuff that you have to do on your greenhouse, and you set it accordingly to yourself. So now I'm going to take my pin arm and this cap cover. I'm just going to screw that on top. And I'm going to put this on, and I'm just going to double check that this is going to go this way. So if you find you've put this on and it's not pushing this way, you put it on wrong. Easy fix, flip it around. So I'm going to take my bolt on the bottom, use a vice grip or crescent wrench or whatever, and just sort of snug it up tight. Now that we got that, we're going to set our pin arm. So our pin arm goes in. And right now, so what I'm doing is I'm just sort of eyeballing it. I want this to be 90 degrees to the door. I want this big longer end is going to be where I made my mark. And just sort of eyeball up here. Make sure that you're not too high and rubbing on the door or too low. You want it just right about parallel with this top arm. So right now I'm looking pretty good there. I'm going to put it on my mark there. You take a tape measure and sort of set a point, and I got about 1 inch and 11/16 down is where I'm going to drill my hole, so it's all nice and tight. And we'll be using these screws here. And you just got to make sure you're using the hole with the long end is our mark. Just take a tape measure and just look at your from your top to bottom. Just have a mark so you can go to this side so you get it nice and flush and level. Okay, now that we got it all screwed and pinned in, bring that over. So with this, now we can adjust our door to our liking. So if you find your sweep speed is going a little bit too fast, just tighten it up. Don't do it too much, just do it in little increments. So when I open the door and you feel resistance there, that's your back check. So I got it up at about a 90-degree angle, which I don't mind. So then when I let go of the door, that's going to be our sweep speed. Now it's closing at a better rate. And then right there at that last push, that's our latch speed. So if you're finding it's not closing fast enough for you, you just take your latch speed, tighten it up or loosen it off, as well with the back check. And there you go.